Hello friends, welcome to Drishti. Friends, in this video we shall be discussing in detail about inflation, the concept of inflation in a way that any layman, any beginner can understand what is the meaning of inflation, how do we measure the inflation, and we shall see some questions based upon the topic to understand it better. Let's begin. The topic is inflation under the series called Economy Simplified. You see friends, we often hear that some goods and services, they come at higher prices in today's times as compared to the previous times, right? The gradual rise in the prices of goods and services is called inflation, right? We can say that when the prices of the goods and services say increase gradually over a time period, this phenomena is called inflation. Inflation leads to the rise in the prices, as well as, you see, the purchasing power of the currency also falls. Suppose we have a kg of vegetable. We talk about 1 kilo tomatoes, right? The tomatoes used to come for say 15 rupees per kg in the last 5 years. Say 5 years ago, it came at rupees 15 per kg, and today it comes for rupees 75 per kg, right? Suppose you had rupees 150. In the past time, you could have bought 10 kgs of tomatoes because you had rupees 150, right? And at a rate of rupees 15 per kg, you could have bought say 10 kgs of tomatoes. But now the same tomato come for rupees 75. So with the same amount, you are able to buy only 2 kgs. It means what? That this amount has purchased tomatoes which is lesser than the previous amount. So we say that the purchasing power of the money has fallen. So we can say two dimensions are there with the inflation. One, when the prices increase, and second, when the purchasing power of a currency falls. They both denote to a phenomena called inflation. One thing. The second thing is a basic question that what are the factors that lead to inflation, right? The causes of inflation. The causes of inflation. What are the causes of inflation? You see, all the inflation causing elements can be classified into three broad categories, right? One is the demand pull, other is the cost push, and third is the miscellaneous. We have three different categories to understand what causes the inflation, right? What causes the increase in the prices? You see, what happens is actually whenever we have a product whose demand is very high, right, we see that the prices increase. See, what happens is, suppose we have a pack of biscuits, right? The pack of biscuits, we have 2 pack of biscuits and we have 10 people demanding that biscuit. So everyone would like to have the biscuit, so they will be willing to pay more prices for the same pack of biscuits, right? Suppose the biscuit came at rupees 10 earlier. So one person may offer rupees 20 for the same packet because they are in need and the biscuits are less. So one factor is the demand pull inflation. This actually means that when the inflation is caused by the aggregate demand is more than the aggregate supply. So when the supply in the economy is say less, the demand is more, we have an inflation called demand pull inflation. So in the causes of inflation, the first cause is the demand pull, in which the high demand pulls the prices, and due to high demand, say, what are the factors of high demand? Suppose you have high amount of money. The high money supply the high money availability in the economy leads to high inflation, right? Or the population may also increase. So anything, the increase of money supply or the population, they both lead to high demand pull inflation. The other thing is the cost push inflation. You see, it happens that at times the demand may not be high, but the ingredient cost, the raw material cost that goes in the production of a commodity is higher. For example, suppose we say steel, right, or say car. The car prices have increased not because the demand is high, but because the rubber, the steel or the iron ore, the electricity and the other components that go in the car, they have become costlier. So if the cost of the ingredients inputs increase, but the demand is not higher, even though the prices will increase, this is called the cost push inflation. The third is the miscellaneous. See, it happens that the demand may be constant, the cost may be constant, but what happens is some hoarding of the commodities take place. Some people hoard the commodities in the large quantities. They create a natural or say artificial scarcity in the market. So the creation of the artificial scarcity in the market, any disaster, any pandemic may disrupt the supplies. As a result, inflation may be caused. So any pandemic, any hoarding or say black marketing, these things actually they lead to the inflation at times. So we have the demand pull, the cost push and the miscellaneous, the hoarding, black marketing, they all are the factors leading to inflation. Now, inflation is measured in our economy by two major ways, right? The measurement of inflation in India is largely in two ways. One is the wholesale price index and the other is the consumer price index, right? We also talk about the headline inflation and the core inflation. We also talk about, say, a concept called the imported inflation. We shall see all of them one by one. See, whenever we talk about the price of commodities, which is higher in the wholesale market, what is the wholesale market? Suppose we talk about agriculture product. The price of the mandi prices of a commodity, suppose we talk about the wheat or rice, the prices that at which they are coming in the mandis, agriculture markets, is the wholesale prices. So when we tap the prices in that market, we see in the mandi the prices have increased. It's a wholesale price increase which is measured by wholesale price index. And suppose we talk about a village, a town. So when we go and find the prices of the commodities near to the people, see, people usually don't buy from mandis, they buy from the shops. So wholesale market is only a price market for the, say, storage and hoarding, but the retail market is the market from where the people actually get the commodity. So when we measure the prices of the commodities, the goods and services at the consumer level, the retail level, and we measure the price change, this is called the, or this is measured by the consumer price index. So this is a index which measures the change in the retail prices. This is the index which measures the change in the wholesale prices, right? So wholesale prices are measured by WPI, retail are measured by the CPI. Now what happens is, suppose we take a basket of commodities, we say let's have a basket of 100 commodities, the food, the eggs, the meat, the cloth, the electricity, the rent, we take all of them to measure the inflation, right? Now some things are there, some goods are there which are very volatile in nature. For example, the oil, the energy, because see, we largely import the crude oil and whose prices are not in our control, and that is why the prices of food and fuel are very volatile, that is out of our command, because the food depends upon the monsoon, again out of control, and the fuel is again about the imported energy. So when we take all the goods to measure the inflation, right, and the inflation which is reflected in the newspapers, which is affecting our pockets, is called the headline inflation. It is an inflation which covers every aspect, is the headline inflation. But suppose you take only those items which are stable in nature, whose prices are stable, right? So from headline, you subtract the commodities of the food and fuel, you get a core inflation. Suppose we have 100 commodities, right? We took the inflation data, we got headline inflation. Suppose out of 100, you subtract the food and fuel commodities, say 20 are the commodities of food and fuel. So take 80 commodities and find inflation. So inflation out of that 80 commodities is called the core inflation. And the one is the imported one, right? See, we import the crude oil. If the exchange rate changes, $1 is rupees 80. So we pay 80 rupees for every dollar, and every dollar petroleum. Now $1 is rupees 90, so we pay 90 for the same oil. So when the exchange rate changes and rupee depreciates, we have to pay more amount, inflation increases because of the import called the imported inflation. Friends, I hope we are clear on the concepts. Let's have a look at the questions on this. Suppose we take a question, which of the following are correct? The first statement is CPI measures the retail inflation. This is true. CPI includes services while WPI excludes them. Friends, it's true, because WPI is wholesale price index only for the commodities, for the goods. CPI takes goods and services, right? And the Reserve Bank of India, see, when they focus on the inflation, they will focus on that data that affects users' pockets, which is CPI. So here, all of them are correct. Answer is D. One question we have, what is the concept of the imported inflation? You see, inflation caused by, first statement is inflation caused by excessive money supply. This is called the demand pull inflation, not the imported inflation, right? Inflation resulting from increased FDI is not the concept, but yes, inflation arising from increase in the prices of imported goods. That's true, because of the exchange rate depreciation we just saw is the imported one. So this is the correct answer. This is not valid. And one more question, which of the above may occur even if the demand remains unchanged? Friends, if the demand remains unchanged, this will not be there. But again, inflation may be due to cost, and import of the goods may be costly. As a result, we have demand is unchanged, so this is not causing the inflation. It's caused by the cost push and say imported. Answer is C. So friends, I hope we are clear on the inflation part. That in fact we can have one more question here, like which of the following situations is most likely to result cost push? You see, the cost push is due to the increase of the cost, right? Consumer spending will lead to demand pull, right? Yes, oil prices increase will lead to what? The cost push, because oil is a component of the cost. So friends, this is the concept of inflation. We shall see some other concepts in the next video. Thank you.
For more informative content, like, share and subscribe, and do not forget to press the bell icon to get the notifications.